Hi, everybody. I'm going to start by wishing my wife a happy anniversary. It's the Bitcoin spouses who are the real heroes, dealing with our passion and autistic tendencies. Okay, I'm Brian Morgenstern, head of public policy for Riot Platforms, one of the biggest Bitcoin mining companies here in the US. Following the Louisiana Purchase, the Industrial Revolution, the World Wars, and the Cold War, the US cemented its status as the world superpower. But cementing that status, keeping that status is hard. Every world power in history has collapsed. Rome, the Mongols, the British, the Ottomans, the Spanish, they maintained dominant status for hundreds of years, longer than the US has, but they all fell. So what could topple the US? Could be wars, the resulting debt, currency debasement, could be civil fragmentation. We could lose the economic and military competition with China, driving allies and adversaries to the east. So how do we prevent that and preserve America's status as the freest, most prosperous society? Well, we have to grow our economy faster and capture more value than the rest of the world. Enter Bitcoin, AI, and the largest input into both, energy. Bitcoin is already a top 10 asset, over $2 trillion market cap. Some estimates say AI is going to boost worker productivity and GDP, hopefully, by 40%. But at a more fundamental level, Bitcoin and AI represent the modern digital age of assets and information, a scarce, sound, global digital asset with Bitcoin and the delivery of information with AI. I always say garbage in, garbage out. If people earn money whose value inflates away, they're getting poorer. They need assets to grow. If they're consuming good, accurate information quickly, then they can make informed, sound decisions. If they consume ideologically slanted, bad information, then our very culture will change for the worse. So how do we capture those productivity gains and GDP growth from Bitcoin and AI in the US and ensure that the values underpinning human freedom thrive? Well, we make sure Americans lead. But how? Well, our biggest challenge is energy. Our growth in demand is outpacing our growth in supply. Meanwhile, in 2024 alone, China began constructing 94.5 gigawatts of coal power capacity. They have 55 nuclear reactors and another 23 under construction, and the EIA reports that it took the US 40 years to add the same nuclear capacity as China did in 10. So how do we catch up? Well, permitting reform, more efficient use, more rapid innovation. But I submit one example of how to repurpose and grow our capacity by transitioning existing underused power sources to Bitcoin mining and Bitcoin mining to AI. Outside Corsicana, Texas, there sits hundreds of acres of land, but not many people, and a gigawatt of power capacity. Enter Riot Platforms. We invested $1 billion. We've energized a 400 megawatt substation. We're using 40% of that capacity. We're mining Bitcoin and we're monetizing that power. And from our various tools, we have a corporate treasury of $2 billion and now a $200 million line of credit financed with that Bitcoin to continue growing. We're buying land. We're bringing in AI data center development experts. Now, what does this mean? First, it means Bitcoin mining can be a first mover on sites suitable for data centers to build power infrastructure and monetize capacity immediately. It's the fastest, safest way to do it for grids because the Bitcoin network is decentralized. Facilities can curtail power use when the grid needs them to. It's 100 degrees in August, no problem. We curtail when grid stress rises, or at some sites we can even sell grid stability services so that grid operators can use us like a dimmer switch to balance supply and demand. It means while we wait for electricity supply to catch up to demand, we can efficiently use existing resources and develop new resources in ways that won't strain the system. It means the site's generating revenue, harvesting financing, and creating the conditions needed for these large-scale data centers. It means the site will generate revenue from diverse sources simultaneously, and it means that this site will capture tomorrow's value today in the United States. As demand for Bitcoin rises and the supply remains capped, we will capture the value growth in the US. And as demand for compute rises, and the US works hard to meet the moment, Riot is using Bitcoin as a bootstrapping mechanism to get us there. This example of power capacity monetized quickly and efficiently by Bitcoin mining and then parlayed into HPC AI data centers is a replicable recipe not just for Riot's success, but for America's. Use what we have now efficiently, profitably, while we build what we need. It is a slingshot to the moon. We just need our policymakers to clear the way for success. That means permitting reform to allow the creation of more capacity. That means low taxes and regulations to compete with other countries. And it means finally landing some trade deals for certainty regarding the price of transformers and other critical equipment. Riot's model is one example of how we can use what we have, build what we need, and win the space race for Bitcoin, AI, and superpower status if we have the right policies and conditions in place. Thank you very much.